Hey everyone! So if you're looking for your next sports romance, if you love like early 2000s rom-com movies, look no further because I have the perfect book for you. So the book is Honor Bound by Jensen Parker. This one just came out, so I was able to arc read it this past week. And this one was so much fun. It reads so much like the rom-coms of the early 2000s, which I grew up with. I love. This one definitely pulls inspiration from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is another one of my favorite movies. And there's definitely a lot of like little Easter eggs, a lot of references back to that movie throughout the book. And if you watch the movie or if you enjoy that movie, you will definitely pick up on them really quickly. Our FMC Sloan, who is like a journalist. She's basically been assigned to write an article on Elite Wrestling Entertainment, which is the franchise that the MMC Wolf is a part of. And so basically, she has to write a report celebrating their 40th anniversary, but it is very difficult to get any information on it. So she is also very anti wrestling, sees it all as kind of being like fake or staged. So she already doesn't like it. She was not happy with getting the assignment. And then she does have a bit of a history with Bennett or Wolf. So basically, they met up a year prior and went on a date and they had a good time together, but then that was the end of their interaction. So they end up running into each other again a year later, and it comes at the perfect time for Sloan because it comes as she's like desperate to try to get information for her story to write. So yeah, she basically has like a hidden identity, kind of goes undercover and doesn't tell Bennett the full truth of what she's doing. So yeah, she ends up kind of following along with him, kind of going on the road with him to all of his wrestling matches. And she ends up kind of discovering like a deep found love for the sport once she gets to see like the behind the scenes of everything. Once she starts opening up and like actually taking in everything that wrestling is. But after reading this, like the way that Jensen describes all the wrestling scenes and how she describes, everything that they put into it, like all the backstories, I try to fabricate just for entertainment purposes. It definitely gave me like a different insight after reading it. And I do like the fact that because there are a lot of characters that we meet throughout the book, there's a whole cast of wrestlers that are introduced, that she does include a little breakdown in the beginning of what their actual names are as well as like what their wrestling names are. So it's kind of easier to follow. And then, she does very well of like describing the scenes, like describing the actions that are going on, that it's kind of very easy to envision everything that's happening. And then similar to the movie, there's that like little miscommunication thing, where the MMC ends up finding out like what she's actually been up to this whole time. It ends up becoming like something that they go over just to be able to, see if their relationship is going to progress. And then I just really loved like how Sloan, kind of went from being very closed off and very much, just trying to focus on her story, and that's what she originally started with. And then like kind of opening her heart and her mind up to everything that, this world was, and realizing that she was actually falling for the last person that she ever thought she would fall in love with. And then Bennett was just like super, super sweet from the beginning. He was always very much like a golden retriever type of guy. He comes across as like willing to do anything for like his family, his friends. And was very much just like very, aware that she hated wrestling, but also like not pushing her to do things that she didn't want to, and also encouraging her to, give it a chance and see, maybe she might end up liking it, which she did. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. I had a really good time reading it. I definitely got a newfound love for wrestling after this. And yeah, I'm very excited to see like where this series progresses. It's very much like if you love those kind of found family vibes, if you love sports romances, if you, want a wrestling book. Again, if you love the 2000s rom-coms, like it's very much a fun, lighthearted, very fluffy like kind of read. So yeah, I had a really good time reading it, and I'm very thankful to the author for letting me arc read this book. But yeah, if you are, looking for anything along those lines, definitely check this book out. It is on KU, so, download it on your Kindle. order it, whatever you need to do. But yeah, definitely check this book out, and hopefully you guys like it.